Now, handling different people is a similar situation, right? Situations and people, but people are very colorful, right? Have you guys seen those ads where someone's turned into Joe Pesci because he's really, really angry, and it turns out he's just hangry, right? He's hungry, so he's angry, right? But this is what happens sometimes. I remember when it dawned on me, God, 20 years into working in the business when I was a maitre d', that people come to the restaurant and they're coming in all sorts of different states, but they're coming in and they're hungry. And that makes them irritable, and it makes them twitchy, and it makes them a little on edge. I'm that girl, right, who shows up, I have no more patient left. I want to sit down and I want to eat. You know, that's me. Yeah, that's me. So when you realize sometimes, when you get a little empathetic, it helps you help people, right? But if you just think people are difficult, mean, and nasty, they're surely going to be that. So we got to think sometimes a little, what could be going on there? What's happening with that person? Because the fact is, they're coming in with all sorts of stuff that has nothing to do with you. They're coming with a whole life of experiences that has nothing to do with you. And if you read the situation, you may get it right, you may get it wrong, all right? We talked a little bit offline about reading the guest. So reading the guest is really like assessing what's going on, right? Using your humanity to sort of feel out and gauge what's happening with that person in this moment. Right? Some of it's related to you, some of it's not related to you. But really just seeing, okay, at the very least, this person's upset. This person seems to have other things going on, but they're here with me right now, so what can I do? And that's back to the power that you have. You have a power to impact that moment there with you. And that's the thing to remember. Okay, so it's unrelated, but yes, you can do something about it. Now, self-control. We talked about self-control a little earlier on. And it's incredibly important when handling difficult customers. So what sort of self-control might we have to demonstrate when we're with customers? What kind of self-control? What are the things we have to control within ourselves when we have difficult guests?
Keeping from getting too upset and managing what you say.
Okay, so managing what you say. Maybe somebody is doesn't like your product, and you're like, that's my baby, right? Yeah. Don't call my baby ugly, right? So you're going to get upset, and maybe you have to control what you're going to say. Very good. What's another one? What are some of the things we have to control? So what we say.
How we say it.
How we say it, that's right. So our body language and our vocal language, right? So if somebody starts complaining to you, you might roll your eyes and be like, here we go, right? That's body language. Or you might be like, okay, right? So the language is, a little frustrated. So we have to control that. Those are exactly the sort of things that I'm talking about. So we need to control our emotions. So taking a deep breath or counting to 10 is a great thing. People have all sorts of little tips and tricks for this. I don't know if you all have them. Saying different words, spelling out different words in your mind, INNERPEACE, inner peace. Right? I mean, it doesn't matter what it is, but it buys you a little bit of time, okay? And the idea is to control your emotions, because at first you might be like, why are you yelling at me, right? Why are you upset with me? No, they're just upset. Has nothing to do with you. Demonstrate empathy even when things feel unfair, okay? We want to demonstrate that we're on their side, and when we feel empathetic, it actually helps us want to get closer as opposed to get further away. When upset people are here, you generally want to get away from them. But in fact, what you need to do is sort of get a little closer. And when you get closer, it actually helps diffuse what's going on, because they think in that moment, I'm loud and I'm crazy, and yes, I'm loud and crazy. But in that moment, if you get closer, you're like, but really what I need is a hug. That's sort of what they're saying sometimes. So if you get closer, and I'm not suggesting touching them, right? But if you get a little closer, meaning like emotionally closer, be empathetic, lean in. I want to hear what you have to say. Tell me about that. It allows them a moment to actually clear their mind and potentially move on from the pain and go into a mode where you can help them recover, okay? Don't make it personal. This is business. And it's also sometimes not about you. You're just a representative of the business. What can our business do? What can my products do? What can I offer you as a service to make this transaction better, make this product better, make this moment better? There's tons of things you can do, but it's not personal. It's really not about you. And remember, it's about your clients, their satisfaction, and their experience. So things went wrong, and now I have control. I have a control because I want to make an intentional action, a positive recovery, and I can do that. I need to find out what will help them out. Now, I talked a moment ago about empathy. So there's empathy and there's sympathy. What is the difference?
Empathy is actually putting yourself in the position of the person you're looking at.
Okay. And what were you going to say?
Sympathy is just feeling sorry for them, feeling sorry for how they feel, instead of feeling like they feel.
Well, I think that's the distinction. Feeling like they feel. So that's a little bit different, right? So sympathy we want to stay away with. Sympathy is somebody said, oh my God, I'm so late today and I had such a bad day. And then you, instead of saying, oh man, I'm really sorry, then saying, oh my God, I was late today too because my car wouldn't start and then my husband's car wouldn't start. That's sympathizing, right? I've been there. I have been there, right? You can use I've been there internally and empathize. But we're not going to share that because we don't want to sympathize with them. That's too much. It's about them and their moment. We want to empathize, right? We want to use our humanity or our decency to say, wow, that's a shame. I am so sorry. It's the pits when that happens, right? And it's really no problem. We're okay, right? This is not a problem that you're late. We're happy to have you, right? So changing it by not sympathizing. And that's something, too, that you're going to have to train your teams on, because that's something that I see a lot with younger service professionals, is that they try to connect with people by sympathizing or by saying, oh, you have no idea. You have no idea how my day was. Or somebody, you know, the polite, hi, how are you? I'm doing fine. How are you? You have no idea. My boss, would you believe? You know, like, it gets to be too much. So we need for them to feel empowered to help people, but without inserting themselves, okay? And that's something, again, we have to work with people on, because it takes a little seasoning to learn how to use self-control and how to truly be empathetic with a client, okay? To take a moment, take a beat before jumping right in with them. Similarly, we have the 5 steps, but there's a couple things, because it's people, that we really need to find out. So one is diagnose the situation, similarly. This is where we're going to read the guest, we're going to read the situation. We might ask people outside of the situation what happened. And then the next one is we're going to apologize. Okay, this is now a person who is upset. So we need to apologize. And before even going any further, we just want them to feel better. You know, I am so sorry. And there's something that people do sometimes, which we're going to try to stay away from. I'm sorry you're so upset. What does that do when I say, I'm sorry you're so upset?
Puts the burden on the person you're talking to.
That's right. That's right. I'm sorry by itself is about me. I'm sorry. I feel really badly. That shouldn't have happened. But I'm so sorry you were upset. It's almost like, well, you're the one with the problem. So sorry you're in this situation. No, I'm sorry, right? So we need to take that. We need to own the apology. Okay? And then we need to ask questions using active listening to make sure we understand why they're upset. What are they feeling? What's going on? What caused this? Okay? And again, try to understand what will be the best solution for them. Then be empathetic and creative with your response, and be swift and communicate the timeline. And this is really important, communicating the timeline, right? So in the example I gave a moment ago about correcting the steak that was not cooked right. So it could be, hey, let me get you a new steak, right? But that isn't really solving the problem, because let's say they're going to the show and they need to leave in half an hour. Me getting them a steak adds 15 more minutes to their time. That actually isn't the best solution. So if I say, hey, I could get you a steak in 15 minutes, or I could get you a chicken probably about 5 minutes, or I could get you a salad like right now, which would you prefer? You've empowered them to make a choice on their own behalf, and you've given them options for the timeline. So when they know the timeline, back to waiting, right? We don't want people to wait. That's in our previous course. By communicating that, then we're going to get buy-in, right? They've made a choice in their own recovery. So communicate that timeline, and then follow up and say thank you for their patience, okay? So we don't want to just say, I'll get you a new steak, and then how was it? We always want to put the bow of thank you. Thank you for their patience, okay? I saw a bunch of nods, right? Thank you is an important one, definitely.
Yes.
Something else about the apology is, and this is what I see a lot, then the bad situation has been completed, right? So the bad thing happened, act of recovery, we're now feeling good. But then we go back and say, again, I'm so sorry. Gosh, and I'm so sorry that happened. Oh, I'm so sorry. Don't apologize anymore. You've apologized, they've accepted your apology, they've accepted your correction, and we've actually created a new memory, right? Wow, they messed up the steak, but I got the chicken was really good, they sent me another glass of wine, I'm happy now. And then when you come over and you're like, and again, I'm so sorry, then right? The meter just totally switches gears. So we don't want to keep apologizing. Instead, we want to end on a positive note. So we want to say thank you for any number of things. Thank you for being so flexible. Thank you for trusting us and allowing us to make this better for you. We appreciate that. Thank you for your patience. It's such a simple thing, but thank you so much for that. Thank you for being a good customer. This was so inadvertent. I didn't want this to happen to you of all people. So thank you. Thank you for trusting in us and believing in us, right? Thanking them for their part of this equation, I think, is really important, right? So instead of saying, because then the apology becomes about you, right? I'm so sorry. This shouldn't have happened. Oh my God, right? It keeps it in that zone of your mea culpa, right? As opposed to putting the onus on them. Wow, you're amazing. Thank you for being flexible, trusting, patient, and being a good customer. That's a wonderful thing. So we want to give acknowledgement for that. An acknowledgement that they've done all those things, which is a cool thing.